My name is Lucas Holloway, and I need you to understand something before this story goes any further. I am not a bitter man. My mama, Loven Holloway, raised me on dignity and sweet tea, in a 2-bedroom house on Clement Street in Atlanta, Georgia. She told me every single morning, "Lucas, you walk in any room like you own the floor beneath your feet." I carried that. I still carry it. So when the family reunion group chat popped up on my phone that Wednesday morning in August, 62 unread messages before I even had coffee, I was genuinely excited. Labor Day weekend. Uncle Stephen's house in Macon. Ribs, Dominoes, Frankie Beverly bleeding through cheap speakers. Family. Real family. I hadn't seen most of them in almost 2 years. Life had stacked up, back-to-back warehouse shifts, a lease renewal that nearly broke me, the kind of exhaustion that doesn't show on your face but lives in your shoulders. And yeah, I'd put on weight. About 60 pounds over those 2 years. I knew it. I wasn't hiding from it. I was working through it. Slowly. But working. I went to Dillard's that Friday and spent $62 on tan slacks and a crisp white button-down. I went to my barber Kevin on Saturday morning and got a fresh shape-up. I looked in the mirror and I saw myself. Full, present, alive. Then Friday night, my phone buzzed. A private message. Not in the group chat. Private. From my older brother, Sebastian. I opened it. "Yo Lucas. Real talk? You might want to sit this one out. You know how Daddy is about photos. You're too fat for family photos, brew." I stared at that screen. For full minutes. 4 full minutes. The apartment was so quiet I could hear my refrigerator hum. Let me tell you about Sebastian Holloway. You need to know him before you judge what comes next. Sebastian is 34, 2 years older than me. 6'1", lean, the kind of man aunties call fine and uncles call sharp. He played junior varsity basketball, never made varsity, but don't bring that up. He coached it into legend in his own retelling. Sebastian taught me to ride a bike in the church parking lot on Sycamore Avenue. He sat with me in the emergency room when I broke my arm at 9, holding my hand the entire 2 hours while Mama did paperwork. Growing up, that man was my compass. My blueprint for how to be. And now he was telling me I was too fat to stand in a photo with our family. I called him. He picked up second ring. "Yo," he said. Easy. Unbothered. Like he hadn't just swung a wrecking ball at my chest. "Sebastian. What is that message?" "I'm just being real with you, bro. You know how Daddy gets about pictures. He wants everybody looking, you know. Presentable. Presentable." I let that word sit in the air between us.
"So I'm not presentable."
"I didn't say that. You said I'm too fat for family photos. That's what you said. Look, I'm trying to save you the embarrassment. You show up looking like that and it's gonna be awkward for everybody." Everybody. There it was, everyone else's comfort ranked above my dignity. By my own brother. "I'll see you Saturday," I said. And I hung up. I sat in my apartment in the dark for a long time. The $62 shirt was already hanging on my closet door. I looked at it. Then I made my decision. I was going. And I was going to walk through that gate with my head so high it scraped the sky. Labor Day Saturday. 6:45 a.m. I was already dressed, already pressed. The white button-down sat perfect. The crease in my slacks was sharp enough to cut. Kevin had given me a lineup so clean it looked painted on. Sebastian texted, "You actually coming?" I didn't answer. I stopped at Krispy Kreme. 2 dozen glazed for the kids, because that's just who I am. When I turned onto Pecan Grove Lane in Macon, the street was wall-to-wall cars. I could hear Mays featuring Frankie Beverly drifting over the fence before I even parked. Charcoal smoke. Hickory. Someone's laugh hitting a high note through the air. My cousin Timothy spotted me through the gate first. "Lucas. Oh, my boy is here." He sprinted over, full chest bump, slapping my back like I'd just returned from war. Timothy has always been real. No filter, All love, the kind of cousin who tells you the truth while grinning about it. The backyard hit me in waves, Auntie Tessa fanning herself with a paper plate, old men staking claims over dominoes, kids shrieking through a sprinkler, the smell of Auntie Athena's peach cobbler cutting through everything. And right in the center of it all, in her lawn chair under the oak tree, my grandmother Nana Rose. 73 years old, draped in purple like royalty. Across the yard, Sebastian. Standing beside our father Elroy, who wore a stiff polo and an expression like a man supervising an inspection rather than enjoying a reunion. Sebastian looked at me. His jaw tightened. Just barely. Just enough. I walked straight to Nana Rose. She grabbed my face in both hands and looked at me like I was the most important thing she'd laid eyes on all year. "Baby, you look so handsome." Her voice cracked on the last word. I was home. Whatever came next, I was home. And nobody, not one single soul in that backyard, was taking that from me. The first 2 hours were genuinely good. I ate ribs, mac and cheese, Auntie Athena's collard greens that taste like they were slow-cooked with a prayer inside. I got dominated in dominoes by Uncle Stephen and took it like a man. Little cousin Jalen dragged me across the whole yard to show me his new football cleats. Normal. Beautiful. Hours. Then Sebastian pulled out his camera. Not a phone, a full mirrorless camera, the kind serious photographers carry. Canon, black body, long lens. He'd gotten into photography recently. Marion mentioned it in the group chat weeks back. I hadn't thought much of it then. I was thinking about it now. "All right, y'all, family photo time." His voice carried across the whole yard. "Line up by the magnolia tree." Everyone started moving. Natural, easy, the way family does when the moment calls for it. Nana rose first. Then Daddy Elroy. Aunties and uncles filing in, cousins stacking behind. The golden hour light was coming through the magnolia branches soft and warm. It was actually gorgeous. I walked toward the group. Sebastian stepped in front of me. Low voice. Private. Camera still in hand. "Actually, Luca, why don't you help me manage the group? Make sure everyone's positioned right." I looked at him. "I'm in the photo, Sebastian." Yeah, just give me one clean set first. Real quick." He turned back to the group immediately. "Daddy, shift left. Nana Rose, right there, perfect." I stood behind my entire family. Not inside it. Behind it. Like a stranger at someone else's reunion. Auntie Tessa turned around from the lineup. She looked at me standing apart. Then she looked at Sebastian. Her eyes did the math in about 2 seconds flat. She opened her mouth. Then she closed it. The shutter clicked. And I felt something cold move through me. Not anger yet. Something quieter and older than anger. The feeling of being made invisible by someone who knows exactly where you are. I spent the rest of the evening burning on the inside and smiling on the outside. Nobody noticed, or maybe they noticed and decided the potato salad was more important. I've learned to tell the difference between people who don't see and people who see and look away. Both hurt. Differently. I drove home with Auntie Athena's peach cobbler on my passenger seat and that cold, quiet feeling still sitting in my chest like a stone. Sunday morning. I opened Instagram. Sebastian had posted 10 photos, each one immaculate, golden hour light, sharp focus, warm tones. Professional quality. Every face clear and present and loved looking. The caption read, "My family is everything." Labor Day 2024. Love like this doesn't happen by accident. #Holloway family #blessed beyond measure. I scrolled every single image. I was in 0 of them. Not the background. Not the edge. Not a blur. Not a shoulder. Architecturally, surgically removed. The family dog, Biscuit, a 12-year-old beagle who spent the whole reunion asleep under a lawn chair, made 2 photos. I made none. I went to the family group chat. 47 likes already. Comments stacking fast. Beautiful family. So blessed. Love this so much. My father Elroy had commented, "My children make me proud." My children. Plural. Like I existed. But only one of us was visible. I set my phone face down on the kitchen counter. Walked to my window. A neighbor was walking a dog. 2 kids on bikes. Sunday morning quiet, completely indifferent to the fact that I was being unmade inside my own apartment. I picked the phone back up. I screenshotted all 10 posts. Every single one. Then I opened the comment section on Sebastian's post. And I started typing. I didn't write anything explosive. I wasn't trying to burn anything down. I was trying to hold up a mirror. I typed, "Beautiful photos, Sebastian." Funny thing, I was there all day and didn't make it into a single one. The camera must have had a blind spot. Love to the family. 12 words of truth wrapped in restraint. I posted it and put my phone down. 40 minutes later, my phone hadn't stopped. Marion called first, voice tight, "Lucas, I'm looking at these photos right now. How are you not in any of them?" "I was with the kids the whole time. I didn't even. What happened?" Timothy texted, "Brew. I saw him turn you away from that lineup with my own 2 eyes. What Sebastian did was foul. You good?" Then Auntie Tessa called. Her voice was shaking. "Baby, I want you to know I saw him redirect you from that photo. I saw it happen and I didn't say a word in the moment. I have been sick about that since I got in my car. I am so sorry." Then Sebastian texted privately, "Why are you doing this? You're embarrassing the family." I read that 3 times. Me. I was embarrassing the family. Not him, for telling his brother the night before a reunion that he was too fat to appear in photos. Not him, for systematically erasing me from every single image. Me. For simply pointing at what he did. Then my phone rang again. My father. Elroy Holloway. I stared at his name on the screen for 4 full seconds before answering. The man who had never once told me he was proud without a condition trailing right behind it. The man whose silences I'd learned to read like weather. How long before the storm, how bad. "Lucas," he said. "I need you to take that comment down." My stomach dropped 3 floors. Because suddenly I understood. Sebastian hadn't acted alone. Take the comment down. I let those words hang in the air between us. Keep family business inside the family, Lucas. Sebastian put our family on Instagram, Daddy, with a public post. That's where family business already went. Sebastian was trying to take nice pictures. He sent me a private message the Friday night before the reunion telling me I was too fat for family photos. Then he turned me away from the photo lineup in front of everyone. Then he posted 10 pictures from a reunion I attended all day long, and I'm not in a single one. So what exactly do you want me to pretend didn't happen? Silence. Long and familiar. Then, "You've always been sensitive, Lucas." And there it was. The phrase I'd heard my entire life, delivered like a diagnosis, like my feelings were the actual malfunction in the system. A memory cracked open like an old wound. I was 14. Sebastian's friends came over, and one of them, a big-mouthed boy named Tell, pointed at me and said, "Who's the big dude?" Sebastian laughed. Just for a second. Just a flash. But it happened. I looked at my father that day, hoping, waiting, for something. Correction. Defense. Anything. He watched it happen and turned back to the television. The next morning at breakfast, he said, "You can't let people see they got to you. Sensitivity is a liability, boy." Not, "Sebastian was wrong." Not, "That boy owed you an apology." Just, "Your pain is the problem." I was 32 years old on this phone call and I was 14 again. Same cold lesson. Same demand to perform okay when I wasn't okay. "I'm not taking the comment down," I said. And for the first time in my entire life, I hung up on my father. My hand was shaking. But I didn't call back. Monday morning. Coffee. Silence. My phone face up this time. Marion texted at 8:17 a.m., "Lucas." He showed me the message. The too fat for family photos one. I need you to know I had absolutely zero idea. Then a screenshot followed. Sebastian had forwarded that same private message he sent me, to our cousin Arturo, with the addition, just being real with bro before he showed up looking crazy ill. LOL. Arturo, God bless that man, screenshotted it and sent it to Marion. Marion sent it to me. I posted it in the family group chat. No caption. No commentary. Just the screenshot, his name, his words, the timestamp, and that LOL sitting there like a lit match. The chat went silent for 11 minutes. I was watching the clock. Then Auntie Tessa typed, Sebastian Emmanuel Holloway. That's all. Just his full government name. The way your mother says your name when words alone aren't enough, when she needs the weight of every syllable to carry what she's feeling. 60+ years of loving him and being completely, utterly done, all in 3 words. Then the impossible happened. Nana Rose, 73 years old, the woman who referred to her phone as this little computer thing, somehow typed, "This is not how I raised this family." I broke. Right there at my kitchen table, alone on a Monday morning, I cried in a way I hadn't in years. Not the quiet kind, not the pillow over the face kind from when I was 14. The releasing kind. The finally someone sees it kind. Sebastian went dark in the chat for 6 hours. 6 hours of everyone else talking, checking on me, processing what they were seeing. 6 hours of the family doing what it should have done years ago. Then Sebastian came back. And what he typed next, I genuinely did not see it coming. 6 hours of silence. Then this. I'm going to be real with y'all. I said what I said because I was trying to protect Lucas. Our father has been talking about family photos for months. You'll know how Daddy is. He told me specifically, before the reunion, I want clean, presentable photos this year. I was trying to spare Lucas from being humiliated by Daddy in person. Maybe I went about it wrong. But my intention was to protect him. The architecture of that defense. The precision of it. He didn't apologize, he reframed. He took an act of humiliation and dressed it in the clothes of sacrifice. He made himself the one who suffered for my sake. Timothy typed back within 2 minutes, "Bro, you cannot protect somebody by calling them too fat. That's not protection. That is the harm. You just did it first and called it love." Judith, quiet, observant Judith who rarely says anything in the chat, typed, "And you cropped him out of 10 photos, Sebastian. 10. How exactly does that protect him?" Sebastian, I was managing Daddy. Lucas knows how he is. I typed back. Slow. Every word deliberate. Sebastian, I'm not angry that you wanted to manage Daddy. I'm angry that you chose his comfort over my dignity. And then you called it love. That's not love. That's old pain wearing a new excuse. I hit send and set the phone face down. The room was quiet. Outside my window, Atlanta was living its regular Monday afternoon. Traffic, someone's music, a kid on a bike. Life completely indifferent to what was dismantling inside this apartment. Then 20 minutes later, Elroy Holloway joined the group chat. My father, a man I had never once seen type more than 3 words on any device, started typing. And what appeared on that screen changed every assumption I had ever made about my own family history. My father typed 3 full paragraphs. On a phone. Elroy Holloway, the man who communicated in grunts and head tilts and loaded silences, typed 3 paragraphs and sent them to the entire family. I want to say something to this family. Sebastian came to me the night before the reunion. He asked if I was going to say something to Lucas about the photos. I told him I did not want Lucas in the photos this year. That was my direction. This is on me, not Sebastian. I have been ashamed, not of Lucas. I have been ashamed of myself for not talking to Lucas directly, man to man. Instead I put it on his brother like a coward. That was wrong. Lucas, you are my son. You have always been my son. What I did was cruel and cowardly and I have no excuse for it. I am sorry. The group chat held its breath. I read it 6 times. 6. My father, who told me sensitivity was weakness, who watched Sebastian laugh at me at 14 and turned back to the television, who told me Sunday morning to quietly erase myself from my own story, was sitting somewhere in his house on Elroy Street typing an apology with his thick, rough hands. And meaning it. I didn't know how to hold it. It was too much, relief and grief and rage living in the same heartbeat, fighting over the same square inch of my chest. Auntie Tessa replied, "You did right by saying this. Now finish the work." Then she added something that completely broke me open. Lucas has carried weight in this family that had nothing to do with his body and everything to do with being the one you'll always felt comfortable enough to overlook. That ends today. I walked to my bathroom. Cold water over my face. Looked in the mirror. I was still there. Still present. Still whole. Somehow, through all of it, still whole. Tuesday evening. A knock. I looked through the peephole. Sebastian. Plain grey t-shirt, jeans, no camera, no angle. Just my brother standing in a hallway looking like a man who wasn't sure what would be on the other side of the door he knocked on. I opened it. We looked at each other. Down the hall, someone's TV was on, a laugh track bleeding through the wall, the most absurd soundtrack possible for this moment. "Can I come in?" I stepped back. He walked in, sat on my couch without being invited, the way only people who've known you your whole life can do. He looked around the apartment, the books, the weights in the corner, the photography prints I'd framed and hung last year. "I don't have a speech," he said. "I'm not asking for one." He looked at his hands a long time. "I've been thinking about Tell. Lucas Williams' friend. When he called you Big Luca and I laughed." His voice dropped. "I have thought about that moment more times than you know. I laughed because I was scared if I defended you, they'd turn on me next. I was a coward. 14 years old and already a coward about the things that mattered. Something old and calcified shifted loose inside me. The message I sent Friday," he started. "It was cruel, Sebastian. Yeah. No deflection. No reframe. Just, yeah. I told myself it was practical. That I was doing you a favor. But I knew when I hit send that it wasn't kindness. I just sent it anyway." "Why did you crop the photos?" He exhaled. "Because if the pictures were perfect, I thought maybe everything underneath could stay buried." We sat in that truth together for a while. "We're not okay," I said finally. "But we could get there." He looked up. Eyes red at the edges. My big brother, the one who held my hand in the emergency room, sitting on my second-hand couch, cracked open and real. "I'm sorry, Lucas." "I hear you," I said. And I meant every syllable of that. A week passed. Then Marion called. "Lucas, I want to do a redo shoot. Family only. Nana Rose's backyard. I want you in the center. I want you holding the remote." I actually laughed. Full and free, the kind of laugh that surprises you coming out. "You serious?" "Completely serious. Saturday morning. Bring your good outfit. I've already talked to Tessa, Timothy, Judith, and Nana Rose. Everyone is in." "What about Sebastian?" A pause. "I invited him. Whether he shows is his choice. But this shoot happens either way." Saturday morning. I wore the same $62 outfit, pressed fresh. Kevin gave me another lineup Friday afternoon, sharp as the first one. I drove to Nana Rose's house on the east side of Macon with my windows down and music up. Sebastian was already there when I arrived. He was standing by the magnolia tree, quiet, hands in his pockets. He'd brought his camera, and the moment I walked through the gate, he crossed the yard and handed it directly to Marion. No words. No ceremony. Just, "Here." Marion set it on a tripod. Handed me the remote. Nobody made a speech about it. Nobody needed to. I stood in the center of my family. Nana Rose gripped my left arm with both hands like she was anchoring me to the earth. Timothy had his arm around my shoulder, grinning like an idiot. Sebastian stood 2 spots to my right, straight-backed, present, not looking away. "Everybody smile," I said. Click. Marion posted them that evening. Caption, "The Holloway family." All of us. Every single one. She tagged me first. 312 likes by midnight. A stranger commented, "The love in this photo is palpable." I was in every single image. Every one. It's been 2 months since Labor Day. Here's what I know now. My father calls every Sunday. Not long calls, 5-10 minutes. He asks about work, about my health, about what I've been reading. Elroy Holloway has never been built for long emotional conversations and probably never will be. But he calls. Every Sunday. That is new. That matters more than I expected it to. Sebastian and I aren't back to what we were. I don't think we should rush back to something that had cracks in the foundation we were both pretending weren't there. But we're talking. He took down the original reunion post and replaced it with Marion's photos. Did it on a Wednesday afternoon, no announcement, just a text to me that said, "Updated." I replied, "I see it." 4 words total. Sometimes 4 words carry everything. I joined a gym. Not because of what Sebastian said, I want that to be clear. I joined because I want my knees to stop aching on stairs and because I want to feel strong in my own body, on my own terms. I go at 6 a.m. 3 days a week. There's a woman named Gloria who always takes the treadmill next to mine and we talk about jazz and terrible reality TV and whatever the city is doing wrong this week. She doesn't know this story. To her I'm just Lucas, the guy who laughs too loud and takes his coffee black. That anonymity feels like oxygen. Honestly. I think about 14-year-old Lucas sometimes. The boy who cried into a pillow because his brother laughed at the wrong moment and his father taught him that feelings were liabilities. I want to go back and tell that boy, you are allowed to take up space. Not just physical space, emotional space. Family space. The space in every photograph where your face belongs. Nobody gets to crop you out of your own story. So if you're watching this and somebody in your life, family, friend, anyone, has ever made you feel like you're too much, too big, too sensitive, too visible, hear me clearly. You are not too anything. You are exactly enough. And if you believe every person deserves to stand in their own family photo, hit subscribe, because body shamers, manipulators, and people like the old Sebastian definitely won't. Drop a comment that says, "I take up space" if you're done letting anyone make you invisible. And if this story hit you somewhere real, share it, because somewhere out there is a Lucas who needs to hear it.